Oh, the stream's dead? Okay.
Yeah, the commentary stream died for me for a bit, and now I'm
Oh,
just seeing the beginning of 1.6.
I have all their stuff open, like, live
Oh,
streamer,
okay.
so...
Yeah, I'm in 1.6 right now.
They're in 1.7.
Okay, yeah. So I see 1.7 now.
Colthor just left the first screen on my side. Is it back yet?
Yeah, it should.
I think so.
It's back
Okay.
now. Yeah, Colthor is
We're good.
finishing up 1.7 for me.
Yep, so looks like Colthor has a pretty decent lead here. I saw Poor getting hit in a few places, which is kind of out of the ordinary for him. He's usually insanely consistent. Alright, so Colthor is gonna just hit this fish with an egg so that he can get through without being blocked by the water stream. And then they have to hit this platform switch up here, which they'll try to do. Nice shot. It was very good by Colthor.
Yeah, the jump that you have to do to hit the switch there is kind of difficult because you don't want to jump onto the platform, but you need enough height to actually scroll the button kind of right off the screen. So it takes some getting used to.
So for Salvo, it's basically just throw a bunch of horizontal eggs and then throw the last one vertical to finish them off. So you should expect 5 egg shots.
Possible to get a quick kill on this boss by using the small slimes that he spawns, but it's not very reliable. So if we see it happen, it'll be
pretty good fight by
pretty
Colthor.
exciting. Yeah, very good fight.
1233 World 1, that's really good. Looks like Poor and Yamayu are both around 1240s. And so after every world, you have a little cutscene. And there's really not much to talk about here. Okay, so here's a good time to explain pipe glitches. If you press down and jump on the same frame, you get to basically skip the going down the pipe animation. So what you just saw Colthor do, press down and jump on the same frame, and in certain areas of the game, you can actually abuse this to transition to the next intended screen without actually going into the intended pipe, and that's just due to how the level transitions work. Like each part of the level is like a square grid, and then the transitions are associated with that. So when you do a pipe glitch, Yoshi's actually jumping into the grid above, which allows you to transition to the next area instead of the one that you came from. So you'll see that here, and you'll see that also in 2.8. And then basically they're going to grab this Shy Guy forward spit it, bounce on the 1-up Shy Guy, and use that to skip waiting for this falling block section, which takes a very long time. And taking extra care to skip the red coins at the end too. There's 2 red coins there that you have to jump over.
Yeah, full jump, you can kind of just barely make it over.
So 2-2 is kind of the first stage that is pretty long and has a bunch of pretty difficult tricks. There's some really crazy stuff that you can go for that saves a pretty good amount of time, but it's fairly difficult. So Kolthor is going to grab this toady enemy. First, he's going to try and do a perfect flutter here to get up without getting the vine. So that was good. And then he's going to upspit this toady against this pole and then bounce on it to skip the Baby Mario star, or skip using the red coin fly guys to get over, because you can do that as well as a backup. Looks like all of them got that one. So you'll see Kolthor do upspit the Shy Guy and then do a perfect flutter up and jump on it, and that skips running over to the left and like jumping on a bouncy ball and going back over to the right. So that's well done. Looks like Calco just got that as well. Oh, and in these sections, like cave sections where you're changing directions, the fastest way to lose all of your speed completely is to tongue a wall. So whenever you see them kind of turning around and tonguing a wall, that's just to change direction as fast as possible. So this is a really good run by Kolthor so far. But yeah, there aren't really any clear leads here in this run until we get past 5-4.
Yeah, 5-4 will could make a very big difference in the outcome of this race.
So this first screen of 2-3 is just about avoiding these slopes, avoiding gusties. The gusties have kind of weird hitboxes, like the hitboxes are kind of shifted a little to the side of what the sprite actually looks like, so they can be really tricky, and it's very easy to run into a gusty and just have it send you flying right down into a pit. So that can be a kind of a scary screen when people are first starting out learning this game.
Yeah.
And then with the Baby Mario section here, what you want to do, it's the opposite of movement with Yoshi. You want to run on slopes with Baby Mario and then jump off. You want to jump off the slopes. That gives you a significant speed boost. Whereas with Yoshi, you just want to avoid them always completely when possible.
The next level coming up, 2-4, has some pretty significant sequence breaks due to a couple of glitches that we make use of. The first thing that you're going to see all these players do is shoot an egg in front of a gate, which will cause the gate to open in the opposite direction that it was intended to open, which skips having to kind of go around the second screen of the level, and that's called a gate hack. And then the second thing that you're going to see them do is do what's called a perfect flutter and gain a little height to get onto a platform near the end of the screen. And that essentially skips another kind of long and inconvenient part of this large room right here.
Yeah, there are a lot of these kind of areas where just like a basic holding, like jumping and holding B flutter doesn't give you enough height to actually get on top of a ledge, but if you can let go and repress flutter within like 2 or 3 frames at a certain time, you can actually gain a pretty significant amount of height.
Yeah, and if your timing is good, you can do perfect fluttering, or you can do perfect fluttering for consecutive flutters, and that allows you to kind of gain height across flutters instead of losing height, which is what happens most of the time. We're going to see that in several points in this game.
And the same thing that we talked about in 1-4 applies on this fight too. You really want to avoid making stars, because making stars on these bosses causes a lot of lag.
Yeah, so that's why
it's very, very noticeable when you're actually playing.
That's why they're aiming eggs horizontally instead of just firing a neutral shot, because that would generate stars.
Yeah, exactly. Kothor is having a very good run. So 2-5 is a very cool level. There's a lot of movement, but there's not a lot of slowing down. So we'll see how they do it. Look for Poor to try and... Okay, well, he bailed on that strat. You can actually upspit a shell there and bounce on it to get on top of the foam and go over that section instead of kind of having to slow down and left-right and go through that small little cave. And then you'll see Kothor just shoot an egg straight through his foam and grab the Shy Guy in order to clear out that spiked enemy and the Daisy there, because that Daisy sort of randomly decides when it wants to spit bubbles or not.
So Poor attempted to kind of skip a red coin near the end of the first room by spitting a shell to hit one of the enemies in front of the red coin, but he ended up getting the red coin instead. It's a very difficult strat to actually skip the red coins in this stage.
Yeah, the one in skipping that one in 2-5 is very, very difficult. 2-6 is pretty straightforward. It's really just about shooting these door clouds or shooting the foam as fast as possible. So that was a nice shot to try and get that arrow down as soon as possible.
Yamayu did a nice little optimization in the foam there by stopping his ground pound before going through all of the foam, so that he gets onto the next platform a little faster.
Yeah, it's very hard to do. And then pretty much the only thing left dangerous in this level is this flower. If you jump at the right time, it's very easy to get hit by that. You saw some of them kind of do like a little mini flutter at the end of their jumps in order to avoid getting hit by that. So starting in 2-7, well, first of all, they're actually going to go left for a change. They're going to grab this big fat Shy Guy here, and basically the thing about big eggs is when it hits the ground, it turns all enemies into stars, and stars actually fill up sprite slots even when they're off screen. Even when they're off screen, they stay in memory, so he's able to prevent those bullet bill launchers from spawning by having all those stars spawn from throwing the big egg. And then in this rock section there, you just saw them trying to kind of just get under the rocks and be able to get through that section as fast as possible. Coming up here, they're going to skip this car section by jumping on this info block. It's pretty significant time save. The car itself isn't too slow, but the animations of transforming both to the car and back into the normal Yoshi form take a long time.
So you might have seen the runners look like they were about to get hit by the car bubble when they skipped the car, but it's because of the way that the hitbox works and the way that the car bubble moves up and down. If you kind of time Yoshi's movement correctly, then you can run far enough underneath the car bubble to get enough speed to jump onto the info block without having to flutter.
So 2-8 is pretty long. Reason being, interesting strat from Coulter there. I haven't seen that one before. Basically, they have to go get a key that's pretty far away from the rest of the stage. But here you're going to see the second pipe glitch to advance areas. Right there. Nice first try. Poor went down the pipe by accident, which then loses you about 6 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see them use probably all five or six of their eggs here on this key pot, just to get it off the ledge and broken as fast as possible. And there are a lot of these kind of spike logs in this level that require 2 eggs or 2 enemies or just 2 hits in order for Yoshi to get underneath. So you'll see a few different ways of dealing with that. So Kothor just got hit there. It's actually possible to jump and get underneath that without getting hit, but I think it's a 1-frame jump. You see Kothor grabbed a egg from that egg block there. He didn't quite get a perfect angle, but it was pretty close. Of course, ideally you want to get an angle that takes you straight up to the top without having to readjust or anything. You see Calco having to readjust a lot. And the bandit taking Baby Mario on Kothor's screen here. So looks like with that, Poor takes the lead. All right, so for Roger, all they have to do is hold right and push him off the stage. But what they're going to do is they're going to run to the left at a very specific time in order to manipulate the fire that he spits so that it won't hit him and they can just hold right and push him off without any problems. Or with a little swag going underneath the platform there. Still a really close race, actually. Looks like Calco caught up a little bit as well. Another cutscene.
I was a fan of Calco getting the squish face underneath the boss.
Yeah, it's pretty swag. Okay, so 3-1 is basically just monkeys. You're going to see an example of the red coin skipping here coming up. You're going to see Poor kind of just fall off the post and land in the mud and do like a little left-right. That's just like one of the situations where you can save the 30 frames from not getting any red coins, but you're still losing 10 or 15 frames by slowing down and like changing direction. So
So you have to do that very optimally
examples. Yeah.
to save time on it at all. So on this last screen, you're going to see everybody intentionally taking a hit from one of these monkey vine things and grab Baby Mario immediately afterwards, which is faster than waiting for the vine to swing the other direction.
Three Sue introduces these like milled enemies. They're incredibly annoying because when you land on them, like they sort of pop, and you completely lose all of your momentum when that happens. So definitely want to just jump over those enemies and avoid them completely.
Yeah.
Coulter having a little trouble here with that tap tap. And so with that, Coulter...
Yama, you having a little trouble with the spear guy? Alright, he's good.
The race, you'll have a good idea what's going on after 5-4. After 5-4, it's basically don't make any huge mistakes. So here in 3-3, there's sort of a new strat I think that Poor found pretty recently. Usually in the old route, we would take the helicopter bubble that's at the very right side of the screen and then go all the way to the left, but he's going to take a monkey instead. And what he's going to do is he's going to fall off the mud while crouching, and that shrinks your Yoshi's hitbox enough that if you move correctly, you can actually wedge yourself in that little gap, and then when you uncrouch, the game just pushes you out to the left.
I think that might be the first instance where we can actually make use of the fact that when Yoshi clips into a wall, he gets pushed to the left.
I think it is. And then another new, or somewhat new thing you'll see here with Poor is he's going to change direction right here to avoid the camera from scrolling over, and that will prevent that spinning spike from spawning, so he can get through there without getting hit. So nicely done. And then what you're going to see Poor do here is he's going to shoot this frog with an egg. When you shoot the frog with an egg, you can run into it and move it. So he's going to hit the frog, run into it twice, and that should knock it over far enough to where you can bounce on it. And you'll land on the stairs high enough to where you just jump immediately and you can clear them, because stairs in this game tend to slow you down a lot. So it's always good to minimize stair climbing or stair jumping. So here in 3-4, let's see, you're gonna see he's probably gonna try and skip the red coins here. One movement thing is if you kind of double tap jump, you do like a lower height jump. Like you probably get about half the height that you would by just holding B normally. So that's another thing that you'll see these racers doing, is there are certain situations where you can only avoid getting hit by doing one of those low height jumps. And then this little this little water section here. It's only about a second faster to flutter over it than to just jump in and swim the entire way. So once you fall in the water, you're probably best off just staying in it. The crabs here take 3 eggs to destroy, or you can just run into them and sort of just damage boost through. And that's a scary section there that Golthor's doing right now. Very, very narrow landing platforms there with spikes on either side. Alright, so coming up on Froggy here. This is probably like the first interesting boss fight in terms of like optimal strategy. You kind of want to shoot the eggs at like a 45-degree angle from as far left or as far right as you can. So you'll see Poor kind of going all the way over to the side and then trying to shoot a 45-degree angle to maximize the damage on the uvula there. And a 5-shot fight is optimal. Looks like it's going to be a 6 for Poor. Looks like Calco got a 5, I think. Calco looks like he caught up to Poor here.
Yeah, I think between Poor getting a 6-shot fight and he got hit by a crab too, so that gave Calco a chance to catch up.
Yeah, the difference between 5 and 6 shots is like 5 seconds, so getting in an optimal fight at the level that that these guys are at definitely helps a lot.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see them. This is one of my least favorite screens in the game. You're just gonna see them try and clear out all this foam without slowing down. Doesn't always work out too well. The eggs interact with foam in a very weird way. Like it very kind of strangely changes the egg's trajectory once it touches foam. Oh, and Yamayu.
Oh no.
Feels bad, man.
This.
So you'll see Poor has this angle locked in here, and he's going to shoot the Shy Guy there with that in order to avoid having to tongue him or to jump on him or anything like that. Just get him out of the way. So tough break for Yamayu, but there's still time to catch up.
Yeah. Looks like he's going for the no red coin route here, which is kind of difficult to do in the first room because there's just so much going on in that room that you have to also think about not getting a red egg or red coin.
So there's actually 2 route choices. You can decide between 2 routes here. You can take the bottom route or the top route. The top route, I think's like 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds slower, but it's a lot easier and safer. You see Golthor grabs this rat and throws some eggs and bounces on another rat to get an extended flutter out of that section. And that's about 1 or 2 seconds faster than taking the top route. But yeah, the risk with the bottom route is if you look at Yamayu's screen, you'll see he had to spit the rat out and then wait for it to jump. So it's definitely a risk.
Yeah, if you get hit
to save
there,
those 2 seconds.
you lose a lot more time, most of the time.
So you'll see where Poor's at. He's gonna spit that that monkey. The hitting the crabs with the monkeys are kind of weird. Sometimes it just like hits them like 3 times instantly and destroys them, and sometimes it just makes them it just stuns them and they stand still. It's kind of weird. You'll see Poor do a door despawn here. Pretty swag.
Yummy's having kind of a tough time with this first screen here. You get caught by the monkeys, and then you get caught by the fish. It's really easy to lose a ton of time there.
Yeah, the first screen can be can snowball really quickly. All right, so 3-8. This is actually a pretty short level. It always seems a lot longer to me than it actually is. You'll see him. You saw Poor do a tongue there just to slow down enough so that he could drop off the ledge, not quite at full speed, so he was able to not get eaten by that piranha fish there. You can also do a tongue right before you run into it, and that'll also work, or you can left right. There's a lot of different ways to deal with that enemy. So you'll see Poor, he fell off that ledge and went to the left, and that was because he hit kind of a stream of water moving to the right, which gave him significant speed boost. It just kind of sets up your jumps perfectly so that you can jump over those piranha fish without having to worry about getting eaten. Oh, and also with these green piranhas, when you hit one, you have like a 30-second frame window of invincibility, or to where they don't have a
hitbox,
and you can just damage boost through them. And nice oh my by Poor. Poor and Calco are still really close here.
Yeah, Calco is maybe like a second and a half behind or something like that.
.30 30 frame window, half a second window. So just another cutscene here. Yeah, you'll see Yamayu grab one of those pollen enemies and use that in order to make it through the green piranha. Uh, 4-1, it's a pretty cool level. He's going to kind of clear out these piranhas with shells and eggs and all kinds of stuff. Curious to see, yeah, Poor went for a pretty sweet shell bounce there. I don't think it really saves any time, but looks cool.
It doesn't lose time, probably.
Yeah,
so.
It doesn't lose time. So this fuzzy section here can be kind of tricky. Getting fuzzied here is very scary because you can actually clip through the platforms that are on the posts when they're slanted too much to the left or to the right. Like when they're there's a steep enough grade, you can just fall straight through it. And then this Baby Mario section is pretty straightforward.
You can actually skip this Baby Mario section by using the Shy Guys and the Koopas to get some nice extended flutters, but it's pretty difficult and saves a very small amount of time.
Yeah, I think it saves like half a second. See Yamayu getting fuzzied here. Let's see if he can make it through without clipping. Yeah, okay. So nice 2 egg shots there by Poor to clear out that piranha. Gonna see him deal with the stairs here. It's just easier to jump over the entire set of stairs and just tongue the wall to stop your momentum than it is to try to actually land on the stairs themselves. And there's not too much more to the stage besides just basic movement. I think you'll see Poor do 3 tongues here in order to slow down enough to where he can just get under that ledge without losing any more speed. And he's going to go for a Baxter here. Nice. But Baxter is when you shoot an egg before you jump in the goal ring and you tongue it right before and it flies past the goal ring and the next Yoshi collects it. Okay, so on 4-3, Poor is going to do this really crazy shell spit strat where you like flutter over and upspit the shell and land on it, and then you skip half to waiting for the floating balloons. So it was well done.
Saves a decent amount of time, but it's very difficult to get the positioning of the shell correct and also gain enough height without having to do a bunch of perfect flutters, which would lose you time if you're doing it for too long.
It's a bit more lenient than you think because you can get hit and still make it up there, like you just saw Kolthor do, but you are losing time just by getting hit.
Yeah.
And then the last screen of 4-3, at the very end, there's a bunch of lag. I'm sure you saw Poor do something pretty cool to avoid that, but I missed it. Now he's on 4-4. 4-4 is the longest level that doesn't have an auto-scroller. It's very easy to lose time on. You are required to get 4 keys from 4 different rooms in order to like unlock the final boss area of the level. And it's pretty easy to lose time in pretty much any of them. So Poor's just gonna throw a bunch of horizontal eggs here just to try and clear out that breakout section as fast as possible. It's very easy to create lag there too because there are multiple star clouds that are hidden in the foam. So you want to try and avoid making stars in these sections whenever possible as well, because the stage it's a lot more laggy than people think.
This is generally the first room that people go to when they do 4-4 because it requires the most eggs, and as you collect more keys, you have fewer slots for eggs, so you want to do the most egg-intensive rooms first.
Alright, so Poor is going to use the Sniff It and upspit it, and get an extended flutter off of that in order to avoid doing the intended route where you take the blue arrow lift. The very, very slow blue arrow lift. So Poor is going to do the bottom left room third. I think he's doing this because he doesn't need any eggs going into the last, going into the boss areas. Is the stream back? Chat? Let me know, please.
I'm still having issues.
I'm keeping up with everything, but I'm gonna save my breath if it's just a black screen. I will talk about the 4-4 boss, the milled boss. Just have to do a bunch of ground pounds, but this boss can be very annoying with the hitbox. Sometimes when you try to ground pound, if you try to ground pound just a little too low, you'll get hit while doing the ground pound. It's incredibly annoying. Nice triple there, triple ground pound by Calco, ground pounding 3 of those in one ground pound.
And if you're really unlucky, you can soft lock the game here.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's actually possible for like the small milds to clip through the floor and be basically indestructible.
You have no way of killing them, so you can't end the fight. But it's probably not gonna happen.
Nice fight by Kolthor as well. Okay, so 4-5. You'll see Poor's using, he upspit the Shy Guy in the shell in order to clear out the Koopas here, but he ran to a wall, so it was despawned, which makes this section trickier to deal with because that tap that he was trying to jump on, or jump over to get on top of the Koopa was in his way. So, still a tricky stage, even though it's not one of the more difficult ones. It's very easy to lose time here. And you'll see Poor grab a shell there, and he'd do a shell jump there to avoid having to do any fluttering. So in 4-6, probably the most annoying thing, at least for me, is these jumping fish. There's probably about 4 or 5 of them that the time they choose to jump is random, so it's very easy to get surprised and get hit by them and lose a bunch of time.
Yeah, some patterns you can't really react to, and you just get hit, lose time.
Poor having a little bit of trouble with the crab. It is possible to get through there without slowing down at all, but its frame window is a little tight.
So in 4-7, you're going to see the runners go for a trick called Chicken Baxter, and it's similar to the Baxter that 4 did in 4-2, where you're trying to bring an egg to the next stage, but this time you're trying to bring a chicken enemy, which you can store as an egg, and it requires a precise setup, and it's also frame perfect to actually bring the chicken to the next stage. So see if they can get the chicken.
Yeah, but it's 100% worth going for. It saves a lot of time on hook bill.
Yeah. So Pork grabs the chicken here. He's going to bring it to the end of the stage.
And he's going to set up his eggs in a certain order because there's some weird sprite ID stuff going on with the Chicken Baxter in order to bring it to the next stage. There's another gate hack here that you're going to see Poor do. That one's a little bit harder than the 1 in 2-4, just because the jump is lower. Like you have to shoot the egg a lot sooner than you do, as opposed to the 1 in 2-4.
Yeah, so Poor doesn't get the chicken, unfortunately.
It's unfortunate. Somebody's gonna get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, bonuses in this run are not too big of a worry. There are a few stages where it can happen, but as long as when you load the goal ring, you're going full speed and you continue to go full speed into the goal ring, it will always land on the bottom left tick flower, which unless you collect 3 flowers, you're always going to be safe. There are a few stages where it's easy to collect 3 flowers, like 5-3, I think, or like 6-5. It's probably pretty easy to, or 5-6.
So Kolthor and Calco both have the chicken, so we're going to see why it's worth bringing the chicken into the stage.
You'll see Poor shoot an egg kind of through the save ring and then get the save ring, but the egg hits the cloud and kind of cancels the save ring's screen freeze. So that's another cool little time save there. It doesn't actually save the game, though, if you go in the door too early, so that's something just to be aware of.
Yeah, so if you end up dying, you start at the beginning of the level.
Alright, so right now Poor has the lead, but since Calco has the chicken, we should expect him to come out of this fight probably about 5 seconds ahead, maybe?
Yeah, I believe having the chicken here saves, 10 to 12 seconds? Something in that range.
It pretty much uses all the super effects chip. The thing about the super effects chip is it's not clocked very high, so it's just running at a very, very low clock speed, which is why these games seem to lag a lot.
Okay, so what Calco is doing here is when you fire the chicken at Hookbill, that actually just hits Hookbill. I think, does it hit Hookbill every frame? I don't know, but it hits him enough to
I'm not sure,
instantly put him in his grounded state. So yeah, he gets to save a ton of time
right away,
because he doesn't need to get eggs and he doesn't need to shoot multiple eggs at Hookbill. So he takes a small lead over Poor as a result. That's the power of the chicken.
Yeah, so that's just like one of those like one frame tricks that can, totally save you 10 seconds, like 3 or 4 minutes later.
Yeah.
And also, the chicken sprite is amazing in stages that it's not intended to be in. You probably saw,
yeah.
You probably saw some good sprites there. So World 5 is where it really starts to get difficult, I think. World 5 and World 6 are probably the hardest 2 worlds. Poor and Calco here, you're going to see them riding this cloud up to get to the top of the mountain. I think that's a little slower than optimal platforming. Just like jumping up the mountain, but that's like task level stuff. Taking the clouds there is very, very safe and not very difficult. So with these icicles, there's a couple shots that you can use to get them down without slowing down, but the timing windows are kind of tight. This last screen, though, it's very easy to get comboed on this screen and just lose a ton of time, or even potentially die.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just saw Kolthor just do like a shot there that took out the icicle for him. Alright, so going into 5-2, there's actually a hidden egg up there at the top of the screen that Calco grabbed. It's pretty convenient because there is a save ring despawn in this level. There's a nice perfect flutter by Calco in order to get up on that ledge without having to do an extended flutter off that penguin. And then here, you're just going to see Calco spit these penguins into the star clouds in order to despawn the save ring.
It's possible to do that screen without using the cloud and also save a bit of time that way, but it's very difficult and you can die very easily doing it, so the runners are opting to use a safe strat here.
And then you'll see Kolthor doing the backup when you don't get the perfect flutter. And the section that Calco is on can be a little scary sometimes. But he got it, no problem. All right, so 5-3. It's very easy to die on this level as well. There's ice and spikes and penguins. See him take the top route here by using the fire melon on some ice blocks and jumping up there. He's going to bounce on this fish in order to just stay on top of the ice blocks, not have to deal with any penguins or any pinwheels or anything like that. The section that Calco is coming up to, it's a very, very tight jump there. It's very easy to jump too early or too late and just fall off the ice and fall into the pit. Then you'll see some nice egg shots here in order to clear out some of these snowmen so that you can just land on the platform immediately. And then coming up to the spikes here, you're going to see him do a very precise shot to clear out both of those spikes with one egg. And as far as the ski section goes, I think when you get hit, Yoshi, when Yoshi is in the snowball form, I think you actually travel up slopes faster. So
Yeah.
I think you'll see that whenever necessary or whenever possible, they'll get hit when they're going to be like going up a significant slope. And then there's just some other minor optimizations, just like jumping at the right time to like skip some of the hills and stuff. Yeah, you'll see Calco getting hit here and then rolling up the slopes is actually faster than skiing up them.
All the players are coming up to 5-4, which is the most difficult level in this run, and will probably decide who's going to win the race. 5-4 has what's called 5-4 skip, and Basically, instead of taking a very long auto-scroller in the middle of the stage, where you have to ride Ghost over a giant pit, all the players are just going to flutter over the pit. And doing that saves over a minute, saves close to a minute and a half, but it involves lots of very precise flutters and has very little margin for error. But all these runners are extremely good at 5-4, so...
Yep, so you'll see Calco just doing some egg shots here in order to just try and get as many stars as he can without losing speed, because he's pretty much required to jump in at least one save ring coming up. Well, you're required to jump in 2 save rings in the whole level, which equals to 30 stars, so you want to collect them by other means when possible, so you don't have to wait for the counting out the animation. All right, so let's see how Calco does. Core is really close behind him. There's actually two, I guess, ways to do this. One is fluttering over to the bats, then back to the left, and then getting up to where the red coin fly guys are, and using a fly guy later on in the screen. And then what Calco's doing here, he's just going all the way to the right, and he's just going to use these 4 bats. So he got the first one. Yeah, you'll see Pores doing the strat I mentioned first, where he grabs the Shy Guy first.
Oh no.
Oh. And Calco is just a little bit too low there. He barely hit that blue spike.
It looked like he let go be just a little
close.
For just a little too long.
All right, so you'll see coming up here, Poor gets it first try. Looks like Cold Thor had an unfortunate death as well. And this skip is really brutal, so...
Yeah, there's... The smallest mistake will kill your 5-4 attempt.
Oh no, Calco. I find it very interesting that the Japanese players use the Shy Guy.
Yeah.
Especially when they do a lot of other of the fastest strats. And honestly, if you can flutter over to where the first bat is, you can make it all the way over to the point where you turn around and just respawn the bats. So I guess it's just like a comfort thing.
Yeah, I think it's probably... It might just be that. It surprises me as well. The strat that the Japanese players are using, where you use a Shy Guy, is, I think, about 8 seconds slower than the strat that Calco is using.
Yeah, I think it's like...
Cold Thor over here is using.
It's like 6 or 7 or 8.
6 or 7. Yeah, so... I mean, honestly, with a trick as difficult as 5-4 skip, using what's comfortable for you is pretty important.
Alright, so Poor is doing helicopter skip here. There's a helicopter transformation that you saw him go underneath, and skipping that this way saves, I don't know, about 1.5 seconds.
This is another one of those strats that, it's not super difficult, but it's also very easy to just die trying to do this. And using the helicopter doesn't lose that much time and is very, very easy. So this is a strat that you mostly see really top level runners going for.
And then you'll see poor Upspit a Shy Guy there and land on that, then land on the switch. But since he didn't touch the ground or flutter, he maintains his extended flutter. So he gets the high boost from jumping on the switch, and he gets the extended flutter as well. And that's a little faster than going over to the right and doing that platforming.
Yeah. So it looks like Kolthor is out of 5-4. Calco still trying 5-4 skip. Incredibly brutal trick.
Yeah, definitely.
This is that I'm all too familiar with.
Absolutely. Yeah, doing that stuff, especially in like a race with like the nerves, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah. Five six is just another pretty long auto scroller for the first screen. There's not a ton happening. More dangerous than 1-5 since there are a lot more enemies. So you just kind of gotta make sure you don't die.
Oh man, poor Calco.
Oh no.
So yeah, not very much to do in 5-6 besides not getting hit and not collecting stuff. And I don't know, you can swag out with eggs, I guess. Yeah, and 5-4 gets worse the more that you fail it too, because your thumb starts getting
your
really
thumb starts getting
from,
sore, and
from,
your
the
fluttering starts getting worse. Oh wow, Calco was about to get hit by that slime, and he knew it, so he shot an egg. Pretty nice.
Heartbreaking.
Oh no.
Calco goes really far to the left when he's positioning or manipulating the bats, which is kind of strange.
Oh, I see. Yeah, he's been getting hit by the bats a lot, so
Kind of seems like he's getting hit because he's going too far to the left.
yeah. Yeah, so in addition to the fluttering, like repeated fluttering, you also have to manipulate the bats in a particular way so that they're kind of at their lowest point when you have to jump on them. And if you mess it up a bit, then you could get hit, which makes it extremely difficult to actually do the trick.
There we go. Looks like he got it that time. Oh. Never mind. Okay, so coming up on 5-7 here. Looks like Poor has a pretty comfortable lead. So I wouldn't expect. I'd basically just look out for him dying. That's really the main thing that's gonna cause him to lose first. So with these kind of grayish platforms, when you jump on them, they start falling after, like half a second or something. But there's one frame when they actually start to fall where Yoshi is in like an aerial state, so you can't jump there. So you have to be very careful about landing and jumping off of these platforms.
Yeah, if you jump at the wrong time, then it'll feel like the platform just eats your jump, and it's very easy to die that way.
You might be able to see it if you look at Yoshi's sprite. You'll see him just change to like a totally different non-running sprite briefly.
Yeah.
All right, so he looks like Poor is basically a full 5-7 ahead of Yamayu. So I guess that's about a minute ahead, maybe? A little more.
Yeah, like a minute 15, something around there. It'd take a pretty costly death to even this up.
There's still a few things left. There's always Rockless and Auto-Scroller Skip.
Yeah.
Calco, no.
He's gotta do the 2 bad strat. Oh, he was so close.
So basically just using those 2 bullet bills there on Poor screen is pretty much the easy method to get up there, because the bullet bills give you like an enormous vertical boost.
The section with the cannons is kind of annoying because while you're trying to shoot eggs up there, the cannon to the left might just decide to shoot a cannonball at you.
Yeah, there's a tiny bit of luck involved there.
Yeah.
So then we're going to see this final little climbing section on Poor screen. It's very easy to get hit here. Yeah, it looks like he messed up a couple jumps and opted to just
kind of now he has to take it a little slower. Yeah. It's like a very small window to get all of those jumps as quickly as possible. So Raphael the Raven is one of the few instances of true RNG in this game, because when he's moving around on the planet that you're fighting him on, the initial direction that he chooses is determined randomly, and whether he moves to the left or the right costs a couple of seconds. And all of his movement patterns afterwards can also cost you time.
Yeah, after he gets hit, he can either do his little fireball stomp, or he can just run straight away, and that's what you want, is you just want him to just run.
Yeah.
Right away, but pretty good fight by Poor. He went left?
Yeah, he went left, so
okay,
that was good. Yeah, it's a pretty good fight.
Yeah, you want him to go left at the start so that you can ground pound as soon as possible. It's actually possible for him to go to the right and stomp before he even, and stop before he even reaches a point where you can ground pound a post and even hit him.
So Calco got 5-4 skip.
So let's hear it for the perseverance of Calco.
Yeah, that's really rough, honestly, and I'm really happy that he pulled through.
So Poor is on pretty good pace here. Also, this cutscene after World 5 is the longest one in the game. So let's see how Raphael goes for Yamayu and Kolthor. Looks good so far for Yamayu. He went left. Nice fight by Yamayu. And this section of 6-1 here is pretty tricky with the spear guys. It's very easy to get hit there. And if you get hit, there's a really good chance you're just going to fall straight into the pit without any chance of recovering.
Yeah.
So one thing about this section of 6-1 is these chomps can be kind of random. Random in both where they choose to land and how much they lag your game.
For the most part, you can kind of just hold right here, but there are a few patterns where you do need to slow down or else the chomp will kill you.
Alright, so Porta's gonna try and get through this section and grab a toady to... Oh wow, he's going for the save like 5 frames strat. There are a lot of ways to approach that ending section there. And they don't.
That 4-1-4.
They don't vary too much time-wise.
Seemed pretty dangerous because the very last platform, there's very little room to move, and he had to land at the edge of the platform like that.
I guess so. Keep an eye on Porter's screen. He's probably attempting to avoid all red coins.
Oh. Looks like he got one. But he was avoiding the ones at the beginning, so I don't know.
Yeah, he might have accidentally gotten one. Anyway, nice 6-2 so far. So in this Baby Mario section, there's actually a way to do it's a kind of a similar thing to a perfect flutter. You just jump and then kind of at the peak of your jump, just kind of let go and then repress, and you'll see he was able to get over that wall there. And that saves a good, I don't know, 5 seconds or so.
The level gives you one more Baby Mario star near the end, but you can skip it so you can finish the level as quickly as possible since you can't enter the gold ring as Baby Mario. But you have to be kind of careful because you will turn back into Yoshi over spikes.
Yeah, it seems a bit scary, but as long as you don't lose any speed, it's pretty safe.
Yeah.
Alright, so here in 6-3 we have our last fuzzy section. Getting hit by a fuzzy here can be bad. Oh. The fuzzies in the end of 6-3 can be bad just because sometimes they will prevent the screen exit from spawning. So a death there from Par, which is kind of uncharacteristic. So looks like that gives Yamayu a little bit of time to catch up. 6-3 is a pretty short level, so that wasn't too bad of a death. It was only on the very first screen, so probably about, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. But I mean, if he makes any more of those, Yamayu can catch up pretty easily. So 6-4, I think, is the first stage that has sort of like a mini boss theme, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
You're intended to fight 2 of these like salvo enemies. They're only going to need to fight 1 though, so you'll see Poor coming up and getting an extended flutter off of one of these ghost guys to just get on top of the stage and transition to the next screen as soon as possible. Because if you take the bottom route, you have to wait for the moving stage. It's very, very slow. So here's the first salvo fight coming up. It's just going to be basically a lot of upshots. It's very like timing dependent. When to like start moving left, like when to stand still, to manipulate his movement. But nicely done by Poor.
Yeah, that fight can lose a lot of time if the salvo manages to go far enough to the left because you have to chase after him.
Yeah, he's the only thing that's on that screen, basically. So if he wants, he can run all the way to the left side of the screen and just stay there. So you'll see Poor getting an extended flutter over this wall here, and that's what enables you to skip the other salvo mini boss. And he's also going to kind of flutter under these red coins and flowers just to save a second on the score screen. And of course, lava skip. Easy trick. So for this tap boss fight, what you're going to see Poor do is he's going to do 4 neutrals. He's got a neutral, move back to the left, neutral, move back to the right, neutral, move back to the left, neutral. And that's the optimal tap fight when you have 4 eggs. You see Yamayu's doing the same way of skipping the red coins and the flower.
He only has 3 eggs going into tap though, so
I think he plays patient, so I think he does the upshot.
Oh, he does the upshot.
Yeah. If you play patient, you can't reliably do all of those neutrals because it's just for neutrals with hasty. Is you just do a straight upshot. You move to the right and then you do a straight upshot and then you just do a horizontal to shoot the tap as he's jumping towards you. You'll see it here on Yamayu's screen.
Yeah, so this is just one example of how strats that you have to use when you're playing on patient are very different from the ones that you can use when you're on hasty. Nice.
So here in 6-5, another long auto-scroller. I don't know if Poor has J 1.0. You might see some of the Shy Guy gravity bug shenanigans or not. Somebody should do it, I think. There's a bug where if you grab the Shy Guys before they actually jump out of the pipe, they'll just travel like in a straight line. They won't have any sort of like gravity applied to them. It's pretty funny. I believe 6.5 is the longest auto scroller. Yes. Although I'm not positive, it could be 5.6. 6.5 is definitely the longest if you include the second screen as an auto scroller. But
Yeah.
since we skipped that, it's a little closer between 5.6 and 6.5.
Yeah, I think they might be about the same length. I think this room 6.5 is about 3 minutes long, a little over 3 minutes.
So you'll see Port just try and clear out these icicles with an egg shot, but leave the red coin and jump over that. Unfortunately, he didn't get it, but I'm not sure you can even avoid a red coin at the end of the stage anyway. Coming up, coming up, you'll see an auto scroller skip. The way that the auto scrollers work is it's an actual sprite that spawns when the camera, scrolls up or scrolls down. And what he's going to do is he's going to try and jump off of this ledge here on the first possible frame, which is called a perfect jump. And when you jump on the first possible frame, the game doesn't register that you've actually landed on the surface, so it doesn't scroll the camera. So when you do that, the camera doesn't scroll up, and the auto scroll sprite doesn't spawn. So that's pretty significant. It's a pretty significant time save. It's probably about 30 seconds for this. Wow, that's a really weird jump that he got off of the last rock there.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that before. It looks kind of similar to, I don't know, the rock kind of just ports you in one direction, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, rocks are very, very weird as to like when you can jump off of them and when you can and when they push you and when they don't. It's really weird. So with 6.6, you are required to get a key to progress. But what you're going to see Poor try and do is just tongue through the wall and just grab the key that way. And that was like 4th try or so, so that's pretty good. You can use the rock and push it down there, and it's about 7 seconds slower or so than first try rockless. So fourth try is pretty good. That enables you to skip a whole long, annoying, narrow section where there's a lot of tap-taps and piranhas. And then he's going to do an egg shot here, or 2 egg shots to clear out those tap-taps so that he doesn't have to slow down before entering the goal ring.
So 6.6 is definitely definitely another level where you can use perfect fluttering and extended fluttering to skip huge parts of the level. You basically don't see 90% of the level.
Yeah, there's 2 sequence breaks. There's the key, and then there's the using that Ghost Shy guy to get up on that foam and do a perfect flutter to get up there without having to enter without having to enter any other rooms at all. It's a pretty significant time save. So I didn't see how many tries it took Yamayu, but he's on the last screen in 6.6 now.
I believe it took him 2 or 3 tries, somewhere in that range. Gains a bit of time on Poor there.
So Poor having a little trouble with that green pinwheel platform. They can be kind of annoying at sometimes, and you want the camera to be in very specific positions when you're going up that green pinwheel section, just so that the one above you spawns at the right time, so that you can jump on it as soon as possible to get up to the very top. Poor is going to come up and do a ground pound here. he got scared. I don't blame him. There's a sweet spot where you can ground pound, then you just land directly on that red platform. But if you're a little too much to the right, you'll get hit by the tap, and it's very easy to actually just die there. So little bit of a safety strat, just jumping off and respawning the platform.
It kind of looked like to me that he was going to get hit if he didn't jump there. I'm not totally sure though.
I think he would have been fine, but I mean, he's got the lead, so
yeah.
And then we have the 6-7 auto scroller. It's actually possible to skip this section by doing what we call 6-7 skip, which is kind of the same concept as in 1-2, where you take the Daisy enemy and spit it into the wall. Except you grab one of the sniffets, I believe, and you do that instead. I don't know if anybody's going to go for it. Maybe Coulthor, since he's behind. We'll see.
Yeah, the skip that saves, I believe, around 40 seconds, so it's a huge amount of time, but the trick itself is very difficult, and it's at the very end of the game, so...
He's going for it. And you'll see Poor doing a... he did a gate hack there with an enemy. He spit the enemy into the gate, which pushed the enemy out to the left, and then he tongues the enemy, which preserves its like sort of leftward momentum. And when you spit that into the gate, it'll open it for you. So let's see what Coulthor can do with 6-7 skip here. Okay. He didn't quite get it, but you know, at this point, that's 40 seconds. You're behind by a lot. You might as well just go for it.
Yeah. For what's worth, I'm pretty sure that nobody has ever actually done 6-7 skip in an actual run.
Nope.
You have an IL that has 6-7 skip. And that's it.
Yeah, nobody's actually done one like in a run or a PB or whatever. But it's got to happen at some point.
Yeah, we're getting to that point.
Alright, so Poor got door 4. There's multiple setups for that. So it's really not terribly difficult to get for door 4 reliably. And we're on the last auto scroll of the game. Poor looks like he's on pretty good pace. It's a little hard to tell. One 142 might be possible for him. I think Poor has a 142.03, I think.
Yeah.
And all the other runners have 142s as well. So I think there was a previous race between some of these runners, and I think Poor got a 142 in that race.
Yeah, Poor and Yamayu did a race for GRTA, and Poor got a mid 142.
That's what it was. Thank you. Calco having to bail out on the lava skip attempt and go back and try again. That's just how it goes. Yeah, if you get 6-7 skip in a run or like a race or something, you're just officially a god. Because nobody's ever done that before.
Definitely gonna happen next year. I'm calling it.
So Baby Bowser requires 3 ground pounds, and it's all about just timing your ground pounds to have the waves hit Baby Bowser, like basically as soon as he touches the ground. So you'll see him wait until Baby Bowser's about to jump, and then he'll jump and bounce on his head, ground pound him. And let me get some TIAs in the chat, please.
Oh, nice.
All right, so the last Bowser fight here, it's you have to hit him 7 times. He runs forward for the first 3. After that, he will do his second attack where he summons more rocks, and then you have to hit him once for that, and then he comes forward until the next 3 eggs hit him and he's dead. So let's see how Poor does here. All right, so he's doing the rock animation. 4 out of 4. Looks like 5 out of 5. Okay. Looks like he missed a couple, but that's fine. It's probably only 6 or 7 seconds lost. And great run by Poor. It's definitely a 142. Time's coming up soonish on the closing of the text box. And that should be time.
Yeah, that was a great run from Poor.
It looks like, according to his timer, a 142.52. So that's only 49 seconds behind his PB. That's pretty sick for a race. This he's insanely consistent. It's pretty nuts to watch. And looks like Yamayu, looks like he's only about a minute behind his PB.
Yeah, not that far behind. Very nice.
Oh yeah, Poor died, didn't he?
Yeah, he
died in 6-3 to the
6-3.
Fuzzies. Wow. Yeah, that was a sick run considering he died in 6-3. And looks like a 143.58 for Yamayu. That's about minute 4 seconds behind his PB.
Nice run.
And then we're just waiting on Koldor here. The thing about this final Bowser fight is it is very possible to play it safe and like let Bowser start running before you shoot each egg, and that makes it a little easier to like line up your shots. But it's also slower than just grabbing the egg as fast as possible and then shooting as fast as possible. So there's a bit of a trade-off there, where like if you intentionally wait until like Bowser starts moving before you shoot each time, like even if you get a 7 out of 7 fight, it's still going to be like probably like 10 seconds slower than a 7 out of 7 fight where you just, YOLO and just throw the eggs as soon as you get them. So
yeah, it's generally faster to just throw out as many eggs as you can reasonably accurately. and there are some decent visual cues for throwing the eggs correctly, but it's still a pretty difficult fight to not miss any eggs on.
Absolutely. Are we gonna let Calco play this out, or do we need to sign off? I don't know how the schedule's looking.
Calco got first try Rockless, pretty sick.
Yeah, first try Rockless is one of the best feelings in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we could get Kolthor.
For an interview.
Yeah, just talk to him briefly while Calco's finishing up.
Yeah. So Calco got a nice little speed boost from the platform there as it was kind of falling through the ground, or falling through the screen, and that's pretty difficult to get. Generally call it task jump for that reason.
Yeah, there are some really strange interactions between Yoshi and platforms. Like jumping off of fast-moving platforms will give you a significant amount of speed.
So Calco brought up a snippet there while riding up the platform so that he could get an extended flutter off of it and save a bit of time getting onto the moving platforms near the end of that last screen.
So I guess while we're waiting on Calco to finish up, so this is like sort of a preview for the AGDQ race, which is, I believe, going to be Wednesday at like 10 p.m. or so.
Yeah, I think it's on Wednesday, probably like Wednesday night, and these four are going to be the racers, and it's very exciting because these are also the top 4 times for the warpless category. So pretty nice to have 1 through 4 racing.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be nuts. And then we got Kolthor from the U.S., Calco, of course, from Chile, and then Por and Yamayu from Japan. So it should be pretty good. If you are interested in any of the speedrunning stuff, you can go to yoshi.science to check out our wiki. And then our Discord is discord.yoshi.science. So check that out if you have any questions. And then leaderboards are at speedrun.com/yi. And we have a new meme board at speedrun.com/YIEXT. Hopefully we can do a big fasting race coming up soon. And fasting is just playing the game without swallowing any enemies. So you can't make any eggs. You can only use enemies, like grab enemies and then spit them out to do damage, or pick up eggs that you find along the way, but you just can't make any. And it's actually possible to finish the whole game like that. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested, because that should be pretty fun. And definitely go follow all of these runners on Twitch and Twitter as well. I know Poor tweets like 100 times a day.
Yeah. You tried playing this melon game with another person?
Yes, I have. I think we played it at last AGDQ, in fact.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I do remember that. Fire melon is hella imbalanced.
It's like really unbalanced because Yoshi and the Bandit Yoshi are like completely different the way that they function. Not actually sure which one's better. The meta for that isn't very evolved. And everybody boo Calco for not getting TIA.
Maybe he's just trying to do that section optimally. I don't actually know how much time you can lose by going for TIA. I just know that it's negligible.
You can do both. It's a matter of getting the waves to despawn as soon as possible.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually do both. You just want to be moving. You kind of want to ground pound them next to a wall, sort of, and then run the opposite way so that it just despawns as soon as possible. But yeah, like we're talking like half a second here, so. So Calco is just finishing up here. The rocks that fall down actually don't have hitboxes. So if you ever play this game or this boss, just kind of keep in mind that those falling rocks can't actually hit you. So you don't have to you don't actually have to avoid them. And coming up is time for Calco. So yeah, he spent a good 10 minutes on 5-4, which is definitely insanely taxing on your hands for sure.
Very taxing and probably pretty demoralizing as well. So pretty great that he stuck through it.
Absolutely, and I think like having just like this kind of practice race is pretty helpful for these runners, because like I think they're going to be not quite as nervous when we actually get to the event.
Yeah.
All right, so Calco finishes with what, a 155 something. All right, so again, thanks for all these runners, and make sure that you check out the HDQ race. It's Wednesday at like 8:30 in January, and then I guess we'll try to do a big fasting race sometime in the next couple weeks. So if you're interested in racing that, it's a lot of fun. So keep an eye out for that as well. And I believe, unless there's anything else, that's it for us.
Yeah. Thanks for watching this race, and hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks.